The Three Helpers. Long ago, there were two princes who decided to travel far afield in search of adventure. The elder of the two, Raja, was inclined to be bad-tempered, whilst the younger of the two, Shyam, was forever good-natured. During their travels, they rested one day beside a lake in a valley bedecked with wildflowers. Shyam was quite happy to sit and admire the graceful white swans gliding majestically across the lake. Not so his brother, who picked up his bow and took aim at the nearest swan. Shyam quickly knocked up his brother's arm. "How can you wantonly kill such beautiful birds?" "What do I care about swans?" Raja snorted, throwing his bow down in anger. Later, when they were riding through a forest, they came to a large anthill. Shyam was amused at the busy line of tireless ants going to and fro. Not so Raja, who started to kick holes into the anthill. "Stop," Shyam shouted, pulling his brother back. "Why do you want to destroy ants?" "You are becoming tiresome," replied Raja angrily, and mounting his horse, he rode on. He did not trouble to wait for his brother. Things came to a head on the following day, when Raja took delight in catching and killing honeybees. When Shyam told him to stop being foolish, Raja lost his temper completely. He galloped off, saying that he had no wish for his brother's company anymore. Poor Shyam was downcast, but he resolved to follow his brother, who he knew would soon get over his bout of temper. He had no sooner mounted his horse when he heard his name being called. Looking round, he was surprised to see a swan, a bee, and an ant standing behind his horse. "Kind sir, we three are grateful for your kindness to birds and insects," said the swan. "Now, if you ever need help, just think of us, and we will be at your side." Shyam thanked his newly found friends. He rode on, hoping to catch up with his brother before darkness descended. For 2 days, Shyam rode through the forests without seeing any trace of his brother. On the following day, he came to a desolate-looking palace. In front of the palace was an ornamental lake, and on the bank were 3 dead trees grouped together. In the little shade they gave sat a gray, bearded old man. Shyam decided he would call at the palace in the hope of news of his brother. As he started to wend his way to the palace gate, a feeble voice behind him cried, "Do not go near the palace. It is under a curse. Be on your way, otherwise you will come to grief." Turning round, Shyam saw that it was the old man who was speaking. "Tell me, what is this curse you speak of?" Shyam asked. "It is a sad tale," the old man replied. "A king had twin daughters and a younger son. The twins were so much alike that it was impossible to tell them apart, but they were gay and happy children. Then one day," continued the old man, "a so-called magician came to this very spot. He was of such queer appearance that the children in their usual high spirits laughed at him. They gave him 3 tasks to perform. The young prince took a casket, locked it, and threw the key into the lake. He told the magician to make it reappear. The Princess Vasu broke her string of pearls and scattered them over the grass. She told the magician to find the pearls and restring them. And then Princess Madhu dared the magician to say which of the 3 was the firstborn. Shyam could see that there were tears on the old man's cheeks as he continued his story. The magician was an evil man. He turned the prince and the princesses into these 3 dead trees. The king entreated the magician to be merciful, but all he would promise was this: if someone performed the tasks the children had set him, the children would regain their human form. But whoever tried and failed would also be turned into a dead tree. Only 2 days ago, a prince came here, and he tried unsuccessfully to perform the 3 tasks. Now he is that dead tree you see over there." Listening to the old man's story, Shyam realized that the old man was obviously the king, and that the prince, who 2 days ago had been turned into a dead tree, must be his own brother. Turning to the old man, Shyam said, "It certainly is a sad story, but do not worry anymore, because I will perform these tasks. I will bring the princesses and the prince back to life." Closing his eyes, Shyam thought of the white swan. When he opened his eyes, the swan stood before him. Shyam told the swan all about the key that was thrown into the lake, and without much ado, off went the swan. Within minutes, the swan came waddling ashore with the key firmly clutched in its beak. Having unlocked the casket, Shyam next thought of the ant. When the ant appeared and heard the story of the pearl necklace, it hurried away. It seemed as though all the ants in the kingdom were occupied in searching for the pearls. Eventually, every single pearl was discovered. The old man, who was of course the king, sat and restrung the pearls. Now Shyam thought of the honeybee. When it appeared and Shyam explained that he had to decide which was the oldest tree, the bee flew into the air. After circling the 3 trees, the bee landed on the one in the center. Immediately the 3 trees disappeared. In their place stood the 2 princesses and the prince. And over yonder, the other dead tree had vanished. Instead, there was Shyam's brother, Raja, standing there. The king was overjoyed, and after embracing his 3 children, begged Shyam and his brother to stay. He wanted them to enjoy his hospitality. The brothers, already bewitched by the princesses, readily agreed. The palace courtyard was filled with divine warmth and celebration. As priests chanted near a sacred fire, Prince Shyam gently tied the Mangal Sutra around Princess Vasu's neck. Beside them, Prince Raja, looking proud, completed the rites to wed Princess Madhu. The king, his heart full, blessed both couples with a shower of flower petals as joy and sunlight streamed through the pillars of the kingdom once more. Moral: kindness brings unexpected allies, and cruelty leads only to isolation. Those who respect all creatures win help in their darkest hour. Even a swan, an ant, and a bee can achieve what anger and pride cannot.